What is generative AI? Is it a collaborator? Is it a tool? Is it software? Is it an artist? Like, what is it to you? What do you have a feeling about it? Is it, you said it's not a friend, it's not an enemy.
Okay, let's start with the whole tool thing, right? People are like, yo, AI is just a tool. You kind of get with it, what you make out of it or whatever. And, garbage in, garbage out, and yeah, stuff like that. I can see why they say it like that. And I talked that way for a very, very little minute right at the beginning, but I don't know. It doesn't seem, I heard one guy say recently, and this seemed like hyperbole, but it's really been sinking in over the last minute. He's like, yeah, AI is a tool like in the same way that civilization and society is a tool. It's like this fundamental thing that humans use to organize our existence on this planet. We've developed societal structures where we leave the wild and come in. So yeah, that's a tool. Society is a tool. And so this idea of like outside the human intelligence, like Midjourney might be a tool, but what's outside the human intelligence really? Is it a tool, or is it like, it seems as if you're going to talk about it like a tool, that talking about it like fire or electricity would be a more useful tool than like a hammer. In so much as that it looks different in a lot of different ways and touches everything all the time. Like fire is like both a flashlight and a forest fire, and electricity is everything from static electricity to what runs the whole world and stuff, and it shocks us, and it also so and so on that very, very, very fundamental level, it might be a tool. I interact with it primarily. I don't interact with like I interact with a hammer or my camera or other tools. I interact with a lot more like I interact with administrative assistant, partner in my business, advisor, muse. I don't sit down in front of AIs and ask a question I expected to give me an answer to. I sit down in front of AIs and have a question that evolves my thinking on a topic such that I can come up with a solution. Maybe the solution is contained in the conversation somewhere, but I'm not there seeking the solution. I'm seeking thinking and sounding board and back and forth and collaborative intelligence. Essentially, that's what I'm doing there. So in that way, it's much more, I think of it, I think about them as, I don't think of it as AI. I think of it as lots of different AIs. I think of it as they all have different personalities and like to be talked to in different ways. Many of them are different. Some of them know me better than others based on how much I've used them. The ones that know me better can serve me better.
I'm curious, like as part of the art community in Vancouver, like I remember, when people started to become aware of programs like DALL-E and Midjourney, there was like a huge backlash and fear from a lot of my creative partners and friends and community members, like, oh, they're gonna, of all the jobs to replace, it's gonna be artists, it's gonna be illustrators, it's gonna be, website designers. And have you like, what was your like impression of the initial reaction in the arts community to generative AI?
Reactions are as diverse as the people that make up that group, and stuff too, which is not to short circuit over your point. I want to deal with it. I'll even acknowledge that most of the people that pay me good money to come to these workshops around this or that for creative professionals, how to do this, whatever, show up skeptical, not towards me, but towards this stuff. Like, it's everywhere. I'm hearing about it all the time. I've messed with it a little bit. It obviously sucks. I know it can be better. I can see other people doing it better. You are. What's going on? Help me figure out this out, kind of thing. It's kind of like I'm willing to dip my toe in and figure out if there are some ways that can in fact make it work for me or something like that. And so that's a lot of the people that actually show up for my classes, which again I feel really blessed about, because often during that 3 hours they get to have their AI epiphany moment where they're like, oh, there's not a big green press a button and it just spits a film out. Actually, A film is the process of developing characters and ideas and a budget and a timeline and pre-production and post-production, release schedule and feedback. And I can see how AI would be useful in very many steps along that way. And so by kind of just like listening at first and hearing what their concerns are and then being like, yeah, that's true. And let's just take a step back and ease our way into this. And like, okay, even before we start using it for your work, let's just use it for your personal life a little bit. Let's just figure out if there are some ways that we can like grab all the stuff you've ever said online and stick it into a custom GPT that now knows how to think and talk like you. Would that be useful in doing some things? And gosh, I mean, you want to talk about a hostile crowd per the comment you made earlier, writers and authors and ghostwriters, and they realize how what they realize what the fuck is going on. And there's a mixture of reactions. Like some people just wish it were different, like the wishing we live in the olden days mentality, like things were better in the olden days. And there's some of that kind of going on, in so much as this represents a blast of change to one's career and identity, right? Like I often think too about like, and I started this little thought exercise back in social media days, but it's as applicable here as ever. Imagine yourself a 55-year-old filmmaker. You're a director. You've made 7 films for the NFB over your 35-year career, but it's been 4 years since your last project. And it's time to make another film. And you look out at the landscape and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? None of the skills that I have necessarily even really map to what it seems like are these modern filmmaking skills. All these people are building notions and then chat GPT and scripts and then using that to storyboard ideas and Mid-Journey and like, what, I thought we were making a film around here. And that would have a very disorienting impact on one's identity, and stuff. And so I try to deliver empathy along with education and community of other people who want to go down that journey together and realize like, yo, yeah, we're being asked to upgrade our skills again and our mindsets. And if we were smart, we would join together and realize this ain't the last time. We should put ourselves into a position of flexibility, adaptability, curiosity, learning environments such that we can weather a gathering storm of change requests from the world as we get asked to upgrade everything inside of us, around us, and out there in the world. I think, I mean, I really not meaning to be hyperbolic, but it does seem that everything's changing.
100%.
Totally. Now, also, I guess I can riff too. It's like, no shit, people are pissed off. We stole everybody's stuff, slurped it up off into this intelligence, and then no one told us we had any choice in the matter. And the thing that's been built out of it is scary in lots of ways to lots of people, from job loss to Terminator things to I don't know what the fuck's going on to identity shifts to whatever. And so it's like, yeah, that's all true. But look, collectively, societally, what we've also been given. We're discovering new compounds, new drugs. You got guys like me saying, I've never been as creative as I've ever been. I've never been as close touch and community with people as I've ever been before. And so we would be wise when taking score of the impacts of the situation to realize it's both. It's fucking amazing and it's terrifying, and now we can have a conversation like it's all those things.
Like, what are some of the bigger problems you see? Like, you talked a little bit about, like, stealing other people's work or IP to train these models, but how about, are there other like kind of like problematic aspects to like sustainability and
sure. I mean, so what we see now, the magic of like ChatGPT, for instance, is not as magical as it seems on the surface. The main way that we got to where we're at right now is through reinforcement learning, which is essentially like humans looking at pairs of images or prompts or scripts or whatever and choosing the one that's more accurate, And so I think that, like the number for GPT-4 was something like 70 million pieces of content were human through Amazon's Mechanical Turk labeled. And these are like in the poorest countries in the world at very little money and stuff like that. it's hard to critique AI in the way that you want to without a full-on critique of capitalism, really, at the end of the
Exactly.
day.
I agree. 100%.
And in that as well is the extractive nature under which a lot of the materials are made, through which the servers and everything, all of the things that exist that power this stuff are, built in today's economic paradigm, which is exploitive and pushes the true cost of things down the road to other places. And I mean, I think that's a pretty old song and dance, but I guess it is useful as well to call out in these cases. And then, I mean, if you look to follow the money, Sam Altman's raising $7 trillion for the world's biggest power plant right now, to get to where we want to go with both artificial intelligence. And I mean, we as a society, and I mean, want to go by, we seem to have not stopped it and are on the train together. So to go where we want to go towards AGI and eventually super intelligence, we're going to need to like not only produce way more power than the whole planet is producing now by several orders of magnitude, but also like, and this sounds like sci-fi, but like also like transmute most of this matter on the planet into something that has processing ability, essentially silicon wafers and data centers. Like it won't be long before, well, who knows? I don't want to sound too crazy, right? But eventually we're going to start converting all things around us into the ability to process intelligence, to raw materials that can be a part of this thinking machine. And so, and then like, I mean, the fact that there are no checks and balances in place, really, we're in this game where everyone's got guns to each other's heads when it comes to the release of this technology. It's like, yeah, we could probably do some ethical analysis of this before we release it. However, if we don't, somebody else is gonna, and we trust ourselves the more than we trust them, right? So let's just go for it. And I mean, like, gosh, I don't want to go all the way scary on you guys, but I mean, it's not going to be long. It's predicted it's not going to be long before intelligence agencies and government realize that private companies aren't the people to develop this technology, and they're going to slurp it all up inside of the NSA and the CIA and shit like that. It's literally like the Manhattan Project nuclear weapons being developed by Silicon Valley startups. It's like Uber developing nuclear weapons. It's like, who wants that, right? And so it's probably just a short matter of time before more systems of control like that are ratcheted down and put into place and stuff like that.
Just based on what you said, that could be like 4 different movies. Well, I can't wait to watch.
I mean, we and I'm like, yeah, make those movies, because we gotta talk about it on the highest level. We gotta just like all be at a, like, I mean, I don't know where this interview is going, but like, education maladapted towards today's society and age, right? Legal frameworks, our ability to make new laws and regulate new industries, lagging far behind the rate and pace of technological change, i.e. we got 80-year-old American senators pretending to set policy for the world about AI development. It's like, well, what if they pass something 18 months from now or whatever? How does that impact what's actually going on right now? And like, so not only like are our laws fucked, I think they is our process for developing new laws and regulations. How do we build educational systems and legal institutions that are able to keep pace with this change such that it doesn't destabilize all sorts of situations? We got a lot of fish to fry. And so that's why I'm like, yeah, let's make these movies, because the more we can be having this conversation at every level, the more important it's going to be. Like, who was it? I had a university teacher on my Facebook pop up this week who was just railing on how terrible students are for using GPT to do their assignments or whatever. And she's a friend, so I didn't dive in. But we're gonna be back to the Napster days where we make our children criminals because they download music off the internet. Now all of our children are criminals. Is that what the world we want to live in? Seriously? So God bless my friend. I won't name her by name, but she's like, I've been teaching this class for 13 years and now I'm going to have to change it. It's like, yep. Yeah, it's true. Your syllabus is going to have to change. And like, Also, you just outed yourself as a lazy teacher who hasn't updated their syllabus in 13 years. Like, and that's part of it, right? We're comfy and we like comfy stuff in general. And
Yeah.
like, you can't, like, this is all the human psychology stuff too, right? Is like, we crust into grooves and ruts because if we have to go through life every day, reevaluating everything all the time, it's mentally taxing and tiring. But that's where we're at right now. You know, we're at this position where we need to just like look around and be like, okay, everything's changed. Is this a good way to do it? Is there a better way to do it? What things do we not want AI to do?
I love your passion. So you heard a little bit about our premise, right? Like, so we're trying to specifically address the idea of something displacing something. So AI, of course, is displacing lots of things, disrupting, changing, absolutely. But can you speak to the actual idea of how, which is our premise, and maybe Sean and I agree, maybe our premise is wrong, but
no, I would love to. Hit me with it. Let's go.
Yeah, like how, like the shift from like makers using their hand to make something like photography to, clicking and focusing, and painters obviously painting, to using words. Like what does that imply? And is it going to happen? Is it going to happen completely? Is it never going to fully take over? In the future, are schools just going to be like classes of prompt engineering? Like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
So would you say your question again is like, how do I see art world changing, art practice changing as we move from a world of hand skills to language-based stuff?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Nailed it.
Since the beginning of time, artists have used whatever mediums they have at their hands to do something. And what are they trying to do? They're usually trying to talk about something or share a truth or examine something through non-logical reason means, through creativity or something like that. They're trying to reveal an inner truth or explore beauty or do something, but almost never along the way in the history of art has the work necessarily been about the work wholly in and of itself. I don't think, I'm sure we can find examples where it's purely just done for beauty's sake and it doesn't mean anything. It's not about anything. It's just beautiful or something like that. So I think that'll continue. That trend will continue. Artists will continue to look to the world around them, the mediums and practices around them as a way to convey, critique, analyze, explore, and help understand stuff, important universal truths, love, death, beauty, the future, identity. This is what I think art is about. It's not about grinding up fucking seashells to make Cordelium blue or something like that. It's like, that was just what we needed to do in order to have this palette of things that could therefore express the range of human emotion or something like that. And so that's what we've done. I'd like to ask everyone, in a day and age where every artistic practice is achievable at a level of nearly infinite perfection, what is worth doing at all? Because you could go invent a new language in Squamish language tradition today, or you could go develop a whole new visual style, or you could make a film, or you could fucking develop a new way. You can do anything at a level of almost perfection, the highest quality, better than mankind. So it's like, well, what are you going to do with this time you got? What do you choose to do? And so it's like, please be a part of that dialogue, lest decisions get made for you and or you, through your own choice, separate yourself from the pace or stream of progress. And well, I wouldn't want to be hanging out there, I don't think.
Right. I love the electricity fire. I love having conversations. I'll be thinking about this all day, maybe for a week. I don't know, but
maybe for a week. I mean, these things stick with me. That thing, like the civilization thing, has been ruminating in my mind for a while. It's like, how low can you go when it comes to fundamental technologies that humanity invents that structure us in a way like cities? We choose city as a tool for organizational structure. Well, this seems like it could be as big as that. Like that this is what we do everywhere. It is the de facto way of organizing intelligences in the future. I don't know. It's hard to see them. It's pretty murky from here, but at least we got sci-fi to guide us.
Yeah, those 4 movies you're gonna write, or chat AI to write, sorry, or to help you write.
The 30 years of for things to change, stuff actually has to change, and stuff is changing right now. And so there's an opportunity for maybe some of those more bigger picture things that we've learned over the last 20, 30 years about whether it be climate or resources or hierarchies or whatever, because of the technological shakeup, maybe there's a chance that as we reconstitute all this shit, that we can bring into it some of the values that we've developed on the inside that are butting their heads up against structure and government and fucking power, stuff like that.
Wow, love it.